Medina, June 632 CE. The founder of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, has just died. Inside the city walls, the community falls into a state of stunned, directionless silence. For the early Muslims, he was their direct connection to the divine. But he also served as the solitary political anchor, holding a highly fragile confederacy of rival Arabian tribes together through his sheer personal authority. Without him, there is no clearly designated successor. A massive power vacuum suddenly opens at the very top of the nascent government, throwing the leadership into chaos. This map of the Arabian Peninsula illustrates the external crisis. Outside Medina, local leaders are tearing up treaties. As boundaries break away, the financial rebellion becomes clear. Distant tribes refuse to pay the zakat tax, arguing their contracts expired the exact moment Muhammad died. The political chaos breeds theological challengers. Rival figures like Musaylima and Sajjah rise up across the desert, claiming prophecy for themselves and gathering heavily armed followings. If the surviving leadership in Medina cannot install a definitive leader and force the rebel provinces back into the fold, the Islamic State will dissolve before it has truly begun. While Muhammad's immediate family was occupied preparing his body for burial, his close companions Abu Bakr and Umar moved fast. They convened a closed-room assembly at Saqifa and claimed leadership over the community. Historian Wilfred Madelung argues that this assembly was a highly calculated political maneuver. Its specific aim was to bypass the traditional Arabian norm of passing power to a blood relative. By securing the title of Caliph immediately, Abu Bakr intentionally sidelined Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, who was widely considered the natural dynastic heir by the Prophet's family. Abu Bakr quickly centralized control, placing the highest offices exclusively into the hands of the Quraysh, his own tribe. In doing so, he politically marginalized the Ansar, the local Medinan supporters who had originally hosted and protected the early Muslims. The lingering question of who possessed the divine right to lead the faith was answered through pragmatism and political engineering. Abu Bakr had secured the reins of government. With the capital secured, Abu Bakr turned his attention outward. He issued a strict policy declaration. Withholding the zakat tax was equal to outright apostasy, or leaving the Islamic faith entirely. He rapidly organized his remaining loyalists into 11 distinct military corps, deploying them simultaneously across the Arabian desert to crush the tribal rebellions. The primary strike force against the most dangerous rebel factions was handed to Khalid ibn al-Walid, a brilliant and notoriously ruthless cavalry commander. Khalid's enforcement methods were severe. When he encountered tribal chief Malik ibn Nuwayra, who had withheld tax revenues from the state, Khalid accused him of treason and executed him on the spot. The loyalist forces then engaged the rival prophets directly. At the Battle of Yamama, the Muslims confronted Musaylima and his rebel army of 40,000 men, defeating them in a bloody clash. The Caliph's armies pushed far beyond central Arabia. They marched to the edges of the peninsula, bringing distant frontiers like Yemen, Bahrain, and Oman back under Medina's control. Abu Bakr's resolve in the capital was matched by his military's weight in the field. Within a single year, the entirety of the peninsula had been brought to heel. The traditional Arabian norms of tribal autonomy and egalitarianism were dismantled, replaced by the rigid hierarchy of a centralized government. While historically labeled the Ridda Wars, or the Wars of Apostasy, these campaigns functioned as an exercise in state-building, fought to consolidate territory and tax revenue. Uniting Arabia through violence forged a battle-tested, highly organized military machine. Within a few short years, this exact same army would push north, conquering both the Byzantine and Sasanian empires. Yet the internal political scars left by Abu Bakr's succession remained. The swift, closed-door consolidation of power in Medina had suppressed dissent, but it had not erased it. This ancient Arabic manuscript serves as a physical record of the resulting theological and ideological split. The aggressive sidelining of Ali at Saqifa planted a deep sense of illegitimacy among his supporters, laying the foundational roots for the schism between Sunni and Shia Islam. The crisis of Muhammad's death turned a fragmented community into a global empire. But the cost of that transition was a fracture over who holds the legitimate right to rule, a divide that continues to shape the geopolitical landscape today.